Hi, it's Jamie with Jamie's Arts a la Cartes. Thank you very much for joining me. I have a fun project planned for us today. I hope this video inspires you to create something of your own. If you would, hit the like button and share the video with your friends. That helps me to grow this channel and to continue to bring you new projects. If you haven't subscribed yet, would you please consider subscribing? And if you have, thank you very much. Well, we have a lot to do, so let's get to it. Hi, it's Jamie with Jamie's Arts a la Cartes. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a fun little kit that I want to work on. It is a mini greenhouse. How about that? How cool is that? All right, I want to begin by opening it up. Let's see what we got in here. Okay, here we go. Here's our next project, y'all. And hopefully we can come up with something that looks something like that. Okay. Ooh, there's a lot of pages in this one. All right. It's reading time. All right, I need to paint this both sides, one and then the other. So I'm going to start there because I know I can do that and then let that be dry while the directions are a little unclear to me at this point. So I do need to look through this a little bit more, but I knew that this will take time. So I'm going to go ahead and start here. We'll see. It's funny, the instructions say the glue and the paint are not for sale, they are gifts. So, as if to say, if it doesn't work, don't complain. I'm just going to leave that up because I don't know what else will have to be painted. But we're going to start here. All right, let's let this dry. I'm going to go back to reading directions. All right, I've taken a minute to sort out my different wood pieces. I'm going to create some glue sticks. Not that kind of glue stick, but this kind of glue stick, where I'm taking my little, from the artificial flowers that I use. These are the stems that I salvage off of them. And they're going to come in handy. I need to make sure I did paint this. You can tell it needs another coat. I need to paint that side as well. Right, both sides. And it told me to only paint one side of this, the top side, and I went and looked at the picture, figure out where the doorknob went so I would know which side to paint of that. So I think I will go ahead and start this side. Oh, I did go ahead and glue together a little shelf. Fairly simple, straightforward. Let's move that out of the way. But let's go ahead and paint this, and then we can move it over there. And then I'm literally using pictures to simple stuff. But let's go ahead and see about getting this. I need to glue it, I think, so that I can get the shelf even. All right, so stands well, so let's go ahead and put it there and push it up just a little bit. And then my glue actually is working pretty well. And I got my little top in there. So that's what these little sticks are for, because I didn't have success with the nozzle. But what I did have success with is using a little applicator. So let's go ahead and then I'm going to put a little bit on the end so that we can get this to where should get my little level out so I can make sure that the shelf is level. I think I'll do that. right, we got several little doodads made. A couple bird houses. Aren't those cute? Crate. A pitcher. Some kind of wagon wheel, it looks like. Even made a little book. Check that out. That was harder than it looked. That was fun. And then some bags. All right, got a couple bags. And then we have an easel. How about that? And then I'm going to try to make a paintbrush to go on there. Here's one of our shelves. Made several shelves. This is the one that kind of gave me a fit, but it worked out just right. This one. And this one. This one looks like my greenhouse. All right, so now all those are dry and ready for whatever that next step for them will be. So I've got some bags that I have, and they come like this. And then you cut them out, and then they look like this. And then I did take my pliers just to help me get a straight line, because you want to fold on the line that's right there. And once you get all the folds, then you do the gluing. And I do it on both sides just so that it stands up straight, like you see here. And I'll be doing more with those when we get to that point. So we got our little cabinet. I was dreading it because I was a little nervous about it, but there it is. Something this kit does that I haven't had other kits do is they have paper that they want you to glue onto the front of the wood. And then they want me to make these handles. I'm going to hold off on that. I've been working on this for a little bit, so I'm going to come at that fresh. But I will go ahead and glue these onto here. So let's go ahead and get them cut out. And there we go. Our cabinet. Too cute, right? All right, let's let it dry. All right, so I made this little picture. Is that too cute or what? And it'll stand like that. There's another one, so I wanted to show you how I did it. little cabinet built. We'll eventually have a flower in there, and it sets out something like that. All right, got so much stuff. I had to get another box. Got our little table. Finally figured out where those little pieces were, so I was able to create that little table. I think it came out cute. They call this a plate. There we go. And created another flip book. And got a bunch of more pieces cut out. So I got a little sign. Sunshine. And we got the floor created. So those are the pieces that are now dry all the way. Oh, and we got a broom. And then we've got these little pieces, a suitcase, a little box that'll cover in fabric, a little, they call it another box, a basket, and then this. So I'm now, finally, after all this time, we get to start on creating some foliage, some flowers. So this is a suitcase. It was a booger to create, but here it is. And down here in the directions, they want me to get the yellow paper out, the orange paper out, fresh green powder. Nothing's labeled, so I don't know. I'm going to go that and that. Fresh and middle green, because this is darker than that, so we'll call that middle green. And green plant. They did include some instructions that I thought was rather unusual. It says, due to import regulations, natural plants in the kit have been replaced by artificial. Please refer to the instructions when using the artificial plants to create the finished plants in the kit. So this is what they want you to do. They want you to take this thing, add glue to it, then put some of this powder on it, and then stick it in the suitcase. And then they want me to unwind this, snip it on the ends, and make like a flower. And then, according to the directions, these two boxes, snip, 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 roll it, and make another flower. Seems kind of convoluted. I do not see myself doing this, to be honest. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to pause and go look in my own florals, because to put glue on this and then to put that powder stuff on there does not seem like the best use of my time. I'm going to elect to not follow those directions. Right, here is our hose, or our water pipe. Looks more like a hose. And it hangs on this and see if it'll fit. Yeah. And then I need to add the foil. So first time cutting this foil. Wasn't hard. And need to go ahead and find something I can wind it around. Alright, so these are the little flower pots. They have a dash line here and here. So I've been using the pliers to help me with the dash lines. That's where you want to fold it. Press it with my finger. And then this curve, it's a curve on a, it's a 3D thing on a 2D. Anyways, I just take my fingernail and I'm just bending it over because it's to create the lip around of the flower pot. Alright, and so just bend it down, bend it. I'm going to bend it the other way and then bend it back the way I want. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the dash line underneath here. That way when it folds over, I don't have to worry about if it shows here or not. But I do want to give it a couple bends both ways. Alright, we are tootling along. There is our hose with the holder attached to it. We've got one plant here. Now that it's all dry, I can sort of make it go where we want it to go. And there is our little plant. And we have this that is like a hanging kind of plant. We have this, turned out kind of interesting. And then some kind of palm. Not sure about that one, but it is what it is. Okay, we'll just keep on making plants. We're in plant mode now. A lot of these come like this, where all you have to do is pop them out of the background and then attach them to wire and then attach them to their little holder, their pot. So let's get these popped out, and then we're right here, figure out what we need to do. Alright, we've made great progress with our little floral pieces. I'll put them over here to keep them safe. They're quite cute. Oh, almost dropped it. There we go. Even our little, this is, we made the pot. There's a little plant that we created for it. All the little different vases that they had for us, right? Different buttons. What a cool way to utilize all those. Look at that. That one turned out pretty good. I like it. This one's very simple. So if I have extra left over, like on this one, I would have thought we would put some leaves in there. So maybe I'll add stuff at the very end. And then this one, I needed it to set up while it dried, so I used my clip and it worked out well. So there we go. Alright, and then what I found, an easy way to make it go a little quicker, is that I go ahead and divide out the next set of plants. Seems to be working so far. So, alright, and then try to check them off as I do them, so I'll know where I'm picking up again. Now the cool thing is that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I liked miniatures till I started making all this, y'all. This is way more complicated than I thought. But as soon as I turn this page, look, I get to start putting plants on some of that furniture and then on the floor I made. That means we must be getting kind of close to assembling this thing. Or at least I keep telling myself, so that I'll keep making plans. Or literally just halfway, because that is the halfway mark in the booklet. But, alright, so, simple, right? You lay everything out, get everything ready, and art glitter glue is working good. This, yeah, no. Anyways, so I've got my pieces in here, and it says fold the paper as shown. And then what they want you to do is make like a little rose looking thing at the top of the wires. Now, they have 3 strips of yellow, 1 orange, and then a greenery, which goes at the very bottom around all of it, it looks like. So, I think you cut these in half. It doesn't tell you, but you'll cut them in half and then fold them to make this rose looking thing. So All right, I've got a ton of stuff made. So what I think I want to do, I do have some bits and pieces that were left over. But I think what I want to do is go ahead and establish my different shelves, right? Put what goes on there according to the plan. Because it's almost like this kit was assembled at a couple different times, and that's why I have this insert. Please, you know, we're sorry we couldn't send the real plants. And then they sent me this plastic stuff to glue this stuff to. I did create one of those, but I'm not a fan of that. Not sure how long that'll last. So what I want to do before I start making more, I did make 2 extra ones. Let's see, where did they go? It's these, because I had 2 little paper pots. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and create the shelves that I have down here, which means gluing pieces to the things that I've already built, and then see what I have left once I start putting all the pieces on there. So, and I'm going to glue them on there, right? Because, I mean, they are sturdy, but I'm going to glue them on there. It doesn't really tell me, it just tells me to set them on there. I'm going to glue them on there. All right, so for this one, we need this. And this. And then it says plant number. It doesn't really show a good picture. So what we'll do is I'm going to put it on this. That way I can kind of move it around a little bit easier. Because I got to flip these pages back to see what plant they're talking about. So give me just a number, right? Plant 19, book 2. So I'm going to just start assembling my first plant station. Okay. We're going to try to add a little bit more of this greenery on here, but I'm going to pick a different color. See, that one is not as fine as the other one, so it comes out a little bit more clumpy. Fresh lid. Alright, so now two, three, one, two. This is just baby's breath, and the green, I just painted it. Alright. Just going to try to get it to set in there. I'm just building from the back here. Okay, and then maybe a green one up here. Alright, here's my floor piece. All my things should be dry. So now I'm going to start gluing them into place. And it tells me this. Oh, let's see if our drawer fits. Oh, I sure hope I did this right. And I need to go ahead and glue it. So I'm going to actually put glue here along this and right here. Okay. And let's see how we did creating our drawer. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? right here. This shelf goes pretty close to the end down here. This one has two things that go underneath it. This, it's like a little, what they're calling a vase. And this wooden bead here. Okay, it's time to begin putting our greenhouse structure onto our wooden pieces. So what it tells me here, it's going to be a lot of drawing with this, but I mean it is what it is. I've got this piece, and you lay this on top of it, glue, and then you set this on top of it, glue the two wood pieces together. So I'm going to just take the glue and go just a little bit around the edge, right there. This one can come over. Alright, I'm going to try to wire up this light. This goes to it. This creates the box for outside. So it had me trim the light bulb thingy, right? Made sure I kept one long, one short. And they were the long and short from before. My husband brought in some strippers. Stripped little tiny pieces. They went flying. Like little tiny pieces at a time. I stripped off. Tiniest little wire thing. Now what they do is they tell you, take the white and take your light bulb, and it says go to the long one. It says large and small, but it's the long one because they're the same diameter, and put them on the light and wind them around. Alright, while our shelter's drying, I am going to keep working on this. I did get it to work. There it is. But my husband recommended that I put some heat shrink down here on these to help hold them in place, and then the book calls for putting it down here. So I'm going to use cardboard to protect my table and help me to see it a little better. I'm going to put it on there, and then I'm going to gently mash it down. And I want to protect this. Couldn't really film this. Sorry about that, but it was a booger. Get that glue off of there. So now what I'm trying to do, first of all, the cap wouldn't fit over the light bulb, and then they wanted you to put one of these little eyelets. So I got that, but it would not go over the light bulb, or when it go over go inside the little bead cap. So works, hallelujah. This will hold the battery pack, but I want to put this over to the side, make sure it's where it will dry straight. I think that will do it right there. Phew, doggies. Once it dries, then we can put it on the truss. All right, let's go back to the building. It's clamped, should be dry. All right. right here is our base. I went ahead and glued it to the bottom piece. And here is our greenhouse piece. So I did have to cut the battery pack off because there was no, you couldn't put it in without cutting it off. So I disassembled it, put a hole up here, pulled it out, and then glued it. And I may end up painting this black. We'll see. But what I want to try to do right now is get this thing to fit over this. So let's see if we can make that. Alright, so while this was drying, I was cleaning up this front area. Now let's see if this is where I can go ahead and mount it. If I have to touch up some areas, then that's what I'll do. Well, there it is, all done. The light works and everything. All those little plants. We've got a hanging plant in there and everything. So, there we are. Alright, well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please like it, share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, would you please consider subscribing? And well, until next time, happy crafting. Let me figure out the best lighting to get you some close-up pictures. Alright, until next time, y'all. I'm going to take a rest after this one for a little bit.